Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Passionate Piscator here in Bristol, right in the centre, fishing Bathurst Basin. I love fishing Bathurst Basin. The downside to it is it's pretty noisy. I've been here for about an hour, I suppose. Well, maybe not an hour, but about 40 minutes. And this is the first time I've been able to talk to you because it's been really noisy. We have a few chaps here cleaning up around the outside of the basin itself with leaf blowers, and I haven't been able to say a single word to you. But it's quieting down a bit now. We're sweeping up the leaves, and we're fishing. Well, I've been fishing for a little bit, but now I feel like we're properly fishing. All the disturbance is done. I haven't been down to Bathurst Basin for quite some time, and I miss it. I really do. It's a beautiful little area to fish in when it's quiet. I mean, as you can see, look in the background, lovely houses and boats. Let's just turn you a little bit. Look at that. Gorgeous, very urban fishing, which I quite like sometimes. It's nice to have a little bit of a break from the beauty of nature, I was going to say. But to have a different environment to fish in sometimes is quite nice. I'm here today hopefully trying to catch a few perch and hopefully trying to catch a few roach. I've mostly just been feeding up my swim, which is down there. I'll show you in a second. In fact, I can show you now. Let's take you off of here. There we go. There we are. And I'll flip you round. I'm fishing right down there. Don't know if you can see my float. There it is. It's fishing pretty high at the minute. I think I must have lost a shot. Never mind. It was lower than that. But yeah, we're fishing just down there. I say just down there, but just down there is actually 9 foot, or roughly 9 foot, before you even touch the water. It's a fair old drop, so needless to say, you have to turn up to Bathurst Basin prepared to fish it. I've got with me my net, my pole, and my pole is keeps going, it keeps going. It'll reach the end eventually, long enough to reach the bottom. And it really needs to be. The fish we're likely to catch here are perch and roach and dace and relatively smaller fish, but you never know when a bigger fish is going to turn up. I'm fishing with 3-pound line, so you know, if I catch something decent, there's a good chance it could drop off or break the line if I try hand lining it in. So you've got to have the right equipment to be able to fish it. I didn't do that the first time I came here. I actually ended up fishing way over there near a set of steps, which is another little point which I tend to fish. But I like to move around the basin when I'm fishing it, different areas, different spots, and see what areas hold different fish. You get a lot of lure anglers around this particular spot going for perch, and so that's really what I'm after today. But I'll be very happy with a few roach and other fish as well. It's absolutely freezing. I know I'm wearing a shirt, but under here I've got thermals and t-shirts and multiple layers. And I have, well, I got here only a short while ago, and so I'm still a bit hot from the walk, to be honest. But we shall see. We'll see what we can get out. So I've got the nets. If I catch something really decent, I better net it out. I'm fishing with maggots. I'm just float fishing. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Either way, now the noise has stopped, it should be alright. It should be alright. What have I hooked here? It's not a fish. It's a load of sticks. but it's no wonder the perch fishermen like it here. There we go. Got to be very careful when reeling in my rod. Oh, what a mess. Let's see if we can get this out of here. There we go. There we are. Put that on the side there. Yuck. You've got to be very careful when reeling in the rod. Not only is it 9 foot before you hit the water, it's also probably about 15 foot. This is a okay, it's probably about, I'm fishing at about 14 feet, I would say. This is a 15-foot rod, and my float is touching the tip, and the hook comes down to here. So it's actually about 14 foot deep. So you need to be aware of that. It's actually far better, really, I think, to feed a fish this area. But I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the challenge of fishing, float fishing, really, really deep. And it is a little bit of a challenge. You get to be very mindful of what you're doing. It's actually far easier when there's a fish on the end of a line. But we've had one perch, which is nice. That's a good start. It's not going to be frantic today because, as I say, it is absolutely freezing. I will put my hoodie on in a minute because I'm already doing this with my hands. So it's good. It's a good way to start the day. A nice little perch, which is precisely what I was after. But yeah, fishing 14 feet and then 9 feet where I'm on the top of the wall here. Can be a little bit hairy, but yeah, the challenge, I like it. I'm not fishing too far out. I really could use a pole, but I don't have one. I don't have one with me here in Bristol. I've got it back in Basingstoke. I've got a nice long pole, but I don't know. I think the rod's perfectly fine, and I can move around if I end up not catching many fish from this area. Incidentally, when I first got here, I was feeding the swim for, I'd say, about half an hour. Just trickling in a few maggots. And there must have been some fish down there, because directly where my float was, all of a sudden, up came a blooming great big cormorant. So that did not help my chances to begin with. He just raised up from beneath where my float was. It wasn't actually there at the time, thankfully. Otherwise, it got tangled up and I'd have had a right old to do. But now he knows I'm here. He's gone right across the other side, which is great. But he either ate the fish which were down there or scared them away. So I've got to try and encourage them back in again. I do have some ground bait here with me, but I'm a bit reluctant to use it. Mostly because it is that really long drop, and I think a lot of it's going to disperse over quite a large area, and I want to fish quite tight, so I'm just trickling in maggots. If there's fish down there moving around, they'll find the bait, I think. But it's always there just in case. Hopefully I don't catch many more twigs. There's actually quite a lot of zebra mussels at the bottom of here as well. Hopefully I don't catch any of them. Right, I think it's about time I put my hoodie on, because it's getting a little bit chilly. When I first moved to Bristol about 4 years ago from Basingstoke, one of my ideas was actually to buy a boat. There was actually one available over in the harbour a bit further around, not in Bathurst Basin. And at the time I was like, oh, what a brilliant idea, I'd love to live on a boat, that'd be fantastic, just fish out the window. You know. And I love being on the water, but then it slowly sort of dawned on me that actually it would be extremely loud most nights till 4 o'clock in the morning easily, or beyond, and during the day, and I'd never get a wink of sleep. But actually Bathurst Basin's pretty quiet, and if a boat had come up in Bathurst Basin, I could be a boatman. I could be living in a boat right now. There's a few people moved up and down and gone to their boats as I've been sat here. And the idea of it sounds great. I'd love to do that. But I must admit, when it gets a bit chilly at this time of year, there's nothing quite like living in a house which you can keep warm. A boat, I mean, you can burn a bit of wood in there, no doubt, and have a little heater in there. But yeah, something about being in a in a house at the moment. Maybe later on in my life, I'll move to wanting to live in a boat again. Of course, I'd love to live in a boat like the old John Sebastian lightship ahead of me. It's looking a bit worse for wear from when I last saw it. I haven't been to Bathurst Basin for a little while. Even though I walk past it all the time up and down the path, I don't tend to sort of sit round it so much nowadays. But yeah, it's looking a bit worse for wear from when I last saw it, but it's still here, still floating. Still got the light on top. It's a good boat to see. It's one of those sort of historic boats. I think it was made in like 1885, so it's got a bit of history to it. It used to sit over the top of like rocks and wrecks or anything that needed to be avoided, and just be like a little. Well, it's a lightship. It's a little lighthouse, so it just warns other ships not to come near that area. But yeah, it's nice. Like a few more fish, but it's nice sat here. Now it's a bit quieter. The guys who have been cleaning up are on their lunch break, so which is good for them because I didn't bring any food. Very rarely do when I'm fishing. Too busy concentrating. Haven't got time to eat. Got to be fishing. But I must admit, whatever they're eating over there, it's making me feel a little hungry. It's a little awkward. It's a little awkward just to get the bait in. But still, it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying myself. That's the main thing, isn't it? Might not be catching the fish, but I am enjoying myself. Did miss a bite earlier on. It was only very, very slight, so I'm not quite sure what it was. To be fair, since I've been out here, the temperature has really plummeted, and that could be affecting the fish, as well as all the other factors, including me being a bad fisherman. A bad fisherman always blames everything else but himself. And I think I'm doing all right. I have actually started to put some ground bait in now, hopefully to attract a few fish in. Just a bit of Thatcher's dart. It's a bait which I'm really liking at the minute. A ground bait. I do struggle with ground bait. I must admit, I'm one of these, and I don't recommend doing this at all. One of these people that likes to just have a little taste of it to see whether I like it before putting it into the water to see if the fish like it. I do not recommend doing that. It's a terrible idea. It's actually one which is actually quite nice, and I've caught plenty of fish using it, or certainly it seems that the ground bait certainly attracts people in. But I've just sprinkled a bit in my maggots to flavour them up, and I've made just a tiny amount and just plopped it in there. I mean, to be fair, I like patches, but I like all sorts of ones. My favourite is it used to be tanches. I don't know if you can still get it. I think you can. Tanches for tench. That was the best one. And there was another ground bait I used to fish 8 years ago. It was like a little packet this big, like fizzy bait it was. Oh, look at that. Put a bit of ground bait in that, Steve, and you're into a fish. Maybe that was the secret all along. Get a bit of ground bait in there. What would it be? That's the question. It's a long time before it comes up. It's a perch. Give it too much time. Now I've got to ship out my net all the way down there, right down to the bottom. Oh, there we are. What a crazy situation to be in. People looking at me like, why is this guy laughing so much? What's up with him? Ah, but it's a lovely, lovely perch. Is, I was going to say it fell out on the net, but it hasn't. It's just got a bit tangled around the fish. It's a barbless hook, but it's in that really awkward spot in the jaws, in the corner. This is going to make it very difficult to get out. You could just wiggle it, I suppose. Yeah, let's give it a wiggle. I've just wiggled it and hooked it back into the fish again. My fingers are so cold, but it's really difficult to do anything. But it is out now. No harm to the little perch. Let's move the net just in front. There, try not to lose it. And there we are, another gorgeous Bathurst Basin perch. What do you reckon? Right, back you go. See if we can get another one. To be fair, it's cold and it's not going to be like fish a second here for sure. And I've only got like a few hours to come down and do a bit of fishing today, so I'm not even going to be here that long. So I'm just after a few little fish to keep me going, especially in this cold weather. I'm not prepared for it really. I've got much warmer clothes for when I'm properly winter fishing. It's not winter. That's the problem. But never mind. Maybe the greater ground bait just woke them up a little bit. Entices them and incites them to feed. We'll see. Let's keep an eye on that float. It's doing a little bit of a wander. I've only just put it in. It's already doing a bit of a wander. No, I didn't like the fact that it's wandering. I think that's just a little bit of breeze. There's a very slight breeze. And the hook bait takes such a long time to fall down to the bottom. But the line sort of sits on the surface and the breeze drifts it along. You've got to keep an eye on it. There's a lot of brambles here, which is why I'm fishing here. There's a load of brambles and buddleias and all sorts of plants grown into the rocks and the stonework. And that's another bite. No, careful, not yet. Yeah, and that's where the fish are going to be hiding underneath all of that. Things will be falling off of it all the time. It provides a bit of shelter. Yeah, a bit of cover for the fish, a bit of cover for the prey fish that they're trying to eat, and a bit of cover for them as well from the dreaded cormorants. Anyway, bait and wait. Sprinkle a few more maggots here. Perhaps I'm being a bit overkill with the maggots, but it's going to take him a good 10 minutes to get down to the bottom. Oh, it's proper cold now. I've got to be mad to still be out here. All the street lamp lights have all turned on, so it's coming towards dark now. I actually had a nice roach. I caught a nice roach. I netted him out, and we're just here unhooking him. And I was going to show you when he did a little backflip and jumped straight back into the water. But he was only a little one, a bit smaller than the perch I've been catching. But oh, it's been it's got really cold. There's a little bit of sunshine earlier on, and that's completely gone, and I'm chilled to the bone. Must admit, I'd like a few more fish. I'm not going to be fishing for much longer today. Maybe another 15 minutes or so. I don't live too far away from Bathurst Basin, so it'd be nice and easy to get back and warm up. And I do want to leave before it does get dark, so I can actually see what I'm doing to pack up. But yeah, it's been alright. It's been quite nice. There's been a lot of people walking along and chatting to me and seeing what I've caught. Some people have seen what I've caught, which hasn't been a lot, to be fair. I had a few people asking, of course, because you always do when you're an angler, you'll find out if you start angling, and you know if you already are. Oh, why do you keep putting the fish back? Why don't you take them home and eat them? And it's a very simple answer today, because I wouldn't want to eat anything out of the Bristol Harbour, to be honest with you. I know what's in it. All sorts of sludge and God knows what else. I wouldn't want to eat anything out of here, that's for sure. Amongst all the other reasons, of course. But, you know, I mean, it might not be the cleanest water in Bristol Harbour, but they do flush it through sort of every once or, yeah, sort of 2 weeks or so. But the fish seem to like it. Though I haven't seen very many today, there are plenty of fish in here to catch. I think, really, this temperature drop is... I'm making excuses, but I think this temperature drop really has affected it. It's certainly affected me. I can't feel my fingers anymore. But, you know, I came to catch some perch, maybe a roach, and I caught some perch, and maybe a roach. Anyway, I'll give it another 15 minutes. Yeah, easily another 15 minutes. And then walk my way home. That'll soon warm me up, that's for sure. I mean, it's got to that part of the year currently where I've got to stop wearing just a hoodie and a couple of shirts, and I've actually got to put my cold weather gear on. But oh, actually there's a little teeny nibble on the float now. The guys are still cleaning up the basin, as you can hear, doing a good job. But it's a little bit noisy. It's a little bit noisy. But that's the joy of fishing in Bristol. If ever you're in Bristol, by the way, or if you live in Bristol, if you're coming through Bristol or whatever, and you just want a few hours fishing, the Bristol Harbour is completely free to fish. You don't have to pay any money, apart from having your rod licence, to fish it. And it's well worth it, just for a few hours. Nicer in the warmer weather, I will admit. Certainly more fish in the warmer weather. But it's never a bad day fishing, is there? Never ever. Anyway, will this turn into a fish? Let's give it a little... Boop. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ho, ho, ho! What have we got here? It's a fish! I have to swing this guy in. Got to lift my rod up high, because I've still got to drag the fish up. It's so deep. Ooh, 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 ooh. Calm down, Betsy. But... Woo, 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 woo. Evidence if evidence was needed. But I have caught a roach today. I've actually caught two, but never mind. Couple of roach, couple of perch. It's a long drop. I'll tell you what, we'll pop you in the net and we'll net you back in. It seems a bit mean to give him a long drop, doesn't it, after all that? And away! It's like fishing a pole just with a net. Right. Actually, that roach, I'm going to call it a day now. Thank you very much for watching. It's a chilly one, it's a cold one. Hopefully in my next video, I think it'll be the last video of the little series. The next one will be, not this one. The next video will be a little bit warmer, a little bit nicer, a little bit sunnier, and with hopefully a few more fish. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've liked this video, despite it being chilly and cold and a little bit fishless. But I've really enjoyed fishing it, that's the main thing. And like this video if you've liked it, subscribe, to the Passionate Piscator YouTube channel, and I will see you guys next time on the bank. Bye! Oh, it's so cold.